Josh, so good to see you. I'm really glad you're here today because I want to talk through this article I found, how to make sure your inheritance doesn't disappear. So take a look at this recent study, which found that 42% of heirs see their net worth fall back to or below pre-inheritance levels within just 1 year. And the average amount of the inheritance studied in this data, $133,000 gone in 1 year. What do you think is driving that behavior?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of that is emotion. You
Mm.
get this big lump sum of money, and you're grieving, and you're emotional, and you're just a lot of times don't have a plan for what you're going to do with it, because sometimes it's a surprise, sometimes it's not. But it comes down to not having a plan and not really understanding the value of that money and what it could do for you if used properly.
I'm glad you brought that up because the study does suggest that the pattern is more extreme than with other financial windfalls, like winning the lottery. So, why do you think inheritances are so different for people?
Well, it goes back to that grief,
Yeah.
and you're getting it in a sad time when you're not really emotionally ready for it. Other windfalls are exciting. This windfall is not as exciting. As it comes with a lot of grief, obviously. And the other thing is that people need to have a conversation about it and make it not such a surprise.
Right. And that brings me to my next question. You've been doing this for a while, Josh. So, what mistakes do you see families making when it comes to passing down wealth?
The biggest mistake is not having the conversations with your heirs about what to expect, and how to handle it. Because a
Hmm.
lot of times these heirs are getting this money, and they're maybe a little bit younger, and they haven't saved a lot of money for themselves. They don't know the work that it took to get that money. So they don't really understand well how to manage it. And especially when it comes as a surprise and they don't know what they're getting, and those sorts of things. So having a conversation with your heirs about what the inheritance looks like, what to expect, how to manage it, how you accumulated all that money, because a lot of times they don't know the work that went into accumulating that amount of money.
Hmm. Yeah, passing down the financial values as well. Good point.
Right.
So, what strategies can help ensure an inheritance actually lasts?
Well, start with proper estate planning. Making sure that your estate doesn't go through probate, because that's a pretty heavy expense that could go to the state versus to the heirs. That takes a big chunk out of it. So having proper estate planning, the healthcare directives, power of attorneys, wills, trusts. Make sure you work with a qualified estate planning attorney to have these things set up so that when it passes, it passes quickly and with as few fees as possible.
Hmm. Yeah, there's so much to consider. And I understand why people put this conversation off because nobody likes talking about death. But of course, the sooner you have this conversation with your loved ones, the better. And sometimes, Josh, it helps to have a professional in the room, lower the temperature, keep it professional. So if somebody wants to have that conversation with you, bring in both generations. What's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, give us a call at the office at 260-488-8300 or on our website at millardfg.com. And that can be really, really helpful to, if you're wanting to make sure that your heirs are going to be responsible with the money, it's probably good to introduce them to your financial planner and help them understand what you're trying to do with the money and get them into the loop early in the process. And it might even help them start saving better as well. If they're in the process, in that process early.
Yeah, never too early to have that conversation. Really good reminder. Josh, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Erin.